Jack Rowe, tremendous hockey player, great year in the USHL. I think he's played 4 seasons in that league. Was committed to the University of North Dakota at one point, and he's a big get for us. He brings a ton of experience, and he's going to be an integral part of our building the foundation here. Louis Rowe, big, mean, 6'6", 240 pounds, but I think the biggest thing about Louis is that he's not only big and mean and tough, but he can play. You know, he's going to have over a 40-point season this year in the USHL, and at that size in production, you can't put a premium on that. He's insane. He'll be the first player at ASU to play in the NHL. And the opposite side, 5'5", tiny, but Charlie is speed to burn, as fast as you can imagine. Offensive juggernaut, scores goals, very dynamic. He's going to be a good player. Jordan Masters, another really high pedigreed kid, was almost an enigma, or he was really highly thought of when he was 17, 18, and played on national teams, led national teams in scoring, and had a great job, great career up in the BCHL, reviving his career. Matt Kennedy, great 200-foot player, very sound defensively, great offensively, smart, has academic scholarship, very smart player from Newfoundland. We're very thrilled he's here. Ryan's an under-the-radar kid. I think some schools are really starting to jump on him. He got hurt earlier this year in the USHL. Big, skilled, tons of upside, has the ability to develop here and play pro hockey. Joe Lappin. Joe Lappin's a pure goal scorer. He led the USPHL Premier League in goals 2 years ago, and this year he's had a very successful run in the USHL, so he'll be leaned on for instant offense for us. Jake played 8 games this season at Nebraska Omaha and left. Wasn't a fit, went back to the USHL. He's had a great career in the USHL, been a 35-plus point guy every year, was a juggernaut at perennial powerhouse Shattuck St. Mary's when he was in high school. And Jake will have to redshirt this next year, but we're going to work on some things with him and get him bigger and stronger, and 16, 17, he'll be ready to go. Cody Gilling's a local kid from Chandler. Cody was our first commit. I thought it was important to go get a local Arizona kid as the first commitment in the history of varsity hockey. Cody was a very high-end player in the North American League. This year was almost a point per game. He had 29 goals. He's another kid that we'll look to for offense. Crow is another local kid. He's from Scottsdale, and another very good North American League kid, and just a good 200-foot player, very sound defensively, smart, likable, great leader. Liam, the epitome of a defensive defenseman. He's a guy that you can throw out there against other teams' top lines and shut them down. He's been a plus player throughout his career, and he'll be good for us. Joey is another regional kid that we targeted from Las Vegas. He's had a great run in the Alberta Junior Hockey League and now in Sioux Falls. Great skating ability, great first pass out of the zone, and he has a chance to be a real dynamic defenseman for us. Clifford, great big physical presence, hits like a truck, very, very mean back there, and gives us a physical presence that we're going to need. Yeah, Nick Gushu. Another big kid, 6'4", 210, physical presence, but he brings more than that. He's a great skater, brings some offensive ability, runs a power play really well. He's a good one. Brock Krieger. Brock's a transfer from Michigan State. His freshman year, he led Michigan State in plus minus. Last year, he had a good solid year. He graduated early, so he comes in as a graduate student with 2 years remaining, and he can play immediately. So he's a big pickup for us because he's going to bring experience at that level that we're going to need. Ryland is a really dynamic goalie. He's got a ton of talent. His natural ability is off the charts. He broke records in the Saskatchewan League his rookie year, and he's the kind of goalie that we're going to need next year that can steal games. Ryan Belonger is a really good player. He played 2 years at Northeastern in Hockey East and was an everyday guy, had a great USHL career. Another guy that we'll lean on for experience at the Division I level. Murph's got world-class speed, incredible skill set, plays big. He'll fit in just fine. You know, he's going to have to tweak his game a little bit to succeed at that level, but he had Division I opportunity coming out of juniors, and he'll adjust just fine. Rivs is an interesting kid. He led us in goals. He's the kind of kid that if you watch play to the blind eye, people will be like, "What's he doing here?" But then he just scores. He just gets it done. He wins every puck battle. He's the most popular guy in the locker room, and he's going to be a good player for us. Udi's another kid that just will outwork everybody. His role and his production on the ACHA level really won't change to the NCAA level at all because he just outworks everybody. Great on the PK, good fourth line guy, great locker room guy, good leader, so he'll do well. Mike's a little bit of an enigma. He doesn't have the pedigree or background that really the rest of our roster has. He played lower level junior A hockey and was a stud at that level, but he's big. He's 6'3", 215 pounds, and he can skate and he can shoot just as well as anybody on the roster. So he's a kid that we really started to gear his role last season towards what it will be when we play NCAA, and he bought into it and did very well, and that's why he's still with us. Otag's an incredibly dynamic offensive threat. Unfortunately, he was hurt all last year, so he didn't play a lot. But he can play at that level. He was the best player for us when we won a national championship, scored 2 goals in the national championship game when he was a freshman, pure goal scorer. David Norris is a transfer from American International. Again, has very good NCAA Division I experience, averaged almost a point per game at the Division I level. So another guy that's going to have to redshirt next year, but we'll work on him and get him bigger and stronger, and he'll come back better than ever. Liam will be a graduate. He graduates this May with a 3.6 in mechanical engineering, was our leading scorer last year with 50 points. He'll be a 25-year-old center, and those don't grow on trees, and he's a no-brainer. We're happy he's coming back. Him and David are brothers. So Liam will be a 5th-year player at ASU. Schmitty, another Division I transfer we had on our club team, played at Ferris State, was a good defenseman that played every game for them when they were ranked top 10 in the country. Good USHL career, very dynamic. Sometimes you need to put a leash on him, but he's a special player, and he's going to be a guy that we can really lean on his experience as well. Eddie, good pedigree, local kid from Scottsdale, hits big, physical presence, was a captain in Sioux Falls in the USHL. So his experience at a very high level benefited us last year, and it will continue to moving forward. Drew's a Scottsdale kid who also played in the USHL, smartest, most steady defenseman we've had at the ACHA level, and he'll translate right away. Jordy's really the kid that got this all started from a recruiting standpoint, was our first USHL commitment at the club level, local kid, and he's the guy that opened the door to more USHL players committing to ASU at the club level. He was the first to do it, and I knew I just needed one. And I got Jordy here, and we're thrilled he's going to be back for his senior year because he deserves to be. Robert's been probably the most consistently performing player I've had in my 5 years as a head coach. I mean, his numbers are video game-like. He just doesn't let goals in. He's the hardest worker every day, and he'll compete immediately to be our starter.